In this recording, I'm going to be talking about the AWS Global Infrastructure. And uh, here is a map, a global map of the AWS Global Infrastructure. And when we talk about the AWS Global Infrastructure, we simply mean that it's a massive distributed system of interconnected data centers, edge locations, and networking components that operate in a seamless, globally redundant manner. And it is designed to deliver highly available, fault-tolerant, and low-latency cloud services to customers worldwide. According to this diagram of the world map, there are currently, well, here it's written 31 regions, but there are currently 33 AWS regions with about 100 availability zones. And this infrastructure is present in over 245 countries and territories worldwide. So we are going to look at some components of the AWS Global Infrastructure. And the first component of that infrastructure is the region. And an AWS region is simply a separate geographical area that consists of multiple isolated locations called availability zones. And each AWS region is designed to be completely isolated from other regions. And the aim is to provide fault tolerance, stability, and high availability for cloud services and resources deployed within it. So each region has multiple availability zones in it. It is made up of at least 3 availability zones. As on this picture, we have a minimum of 3 availability zones. For example, if we use the US East 1 region, North Virginia, we have US East 1A, 1B, 1C, which can be used to deploy resources. And what is an availability zone? So quite simply, an availability zone or availability zones are groups of isolated and physically separate data centers within the same geographic area. So we have an availability zone here. It has 2 data centers. This has 2, this has 3. It should have a minimum of 1 data center, but typically AWS would have a multitude of, or at least, or 2 or more data centers in each availability zone. And we have another component which are called edge locations. And simply, edge locations are data centers designed to deliver services with low latency. And these are essentially data centers that AWS uses to cache copies of content closer to the location of users accessing it. And edge locations are typically closer to the users than the regions and the availability zones, and are often located in major cities, ensuring that responses can be fast and snappy. And the locations of our edge locations, or our edge locations, are very strategic in order to optimize the content delivery and improving the end user latency. So why do we have up to 33 AWS regions and over about 100 availability zones and 400 plus points of presence worldwide. The first major reason is high availability and fault tolerance. And by having a number of uh, uh, a multitude of availability zones within a single region, AWS can provide redundancy and in such a way that if one AZ fails, that is an availability zone fails due to a power outage or other issues, services can fail over to another availability zone within the same region without any significant downtime. Also, since AZs are physically separated by significant distances, uh, ensuring that even it ensures that even a severe localized issues like natural disasters does not affect all the availability zones within that region simultaneously. We have another important reason is for performance and low latency. Because we have AWS regions spread worldwide, allowing customers to deploy uh, applications closer to the end users. It helps in reducing latency, providing fast response time, and a better user experience. Um, we have a disaster recovery, and having multiple regions allows AWS to implement the disaster recovery strategies by replicating applications and data across different regions. That is what we call cross-region replication. And this setup ensures that if an entire region becomes unavailable, the application can continue running in another region. And also, regions can serve as backup locations for data, ensuring that critical information um, is not lost in case of a catastrophic failure in one region. Also, there is another reason called for regulatory compliance. Some industries and countries have strict regulations about where data must be stored and processed. And by having regions in various geographical locations, AWS can help customers to comply with these local data residency laws and regulations. Um, Also, for another reason could be for operational efficiency, and AWS can perform maintenance and updates in one availability zone without necessarily affecting the entire region, ensuring that customers experience minimal disruption. And this permits for continuous operations and high availability. And also, another or one last reason could be that um, it's it permits scalability and flexibility. Having multiple regions and AZs enables AWS to provide scalable solutions to meet varying customer demands. And this elasticity is essential for applications that experience variable workloads and need to scale up or down quickly. Also, having a broad network of regions and availability zones ensures that AWS can meet growing resource demands of its customers uh, um, to provide a robust infrastructure that can handle large-scale workloads. So this is the brief overview of the AWS infrastructure. We talked about the regions, availability zones, and the edge locations, and the importance of having such a massive presence worldwide.